Hello, and welcome to A Reader's Paradise. I'm your host, Earl Sewell. This is a great place to hang out if you love hearing literature performed for you, as well as hearing author interviews. Hello everyone, I'm Earl Sewell, and this is an additional excerpt from my upcoming novel entitled Lenny Gray, which is scheduled to be released later this month. I encourage you to go to Amazon.com and pre-order your copy today. One of the truly exciting things about writing historical fiction is intermingling actual historical fact into the fictional lives of your characters, or in this case, my characters in the book Lenny Gray, which takes place between 1918 and 1951. One of the biggest issues the characters had to deal with in this particular novel was segregation. And here are some true historical facts for you. The era of segregation lasted from about 1877 to 1968, 1968 being the year that I was born. The years after the Civil War were hopeful and disheartening for African Americans. With the end of slavery, they had hoped to attain full citizenship. Instead, they found themselves resisting efforts to put them in a place in a new form of oppression called segregation. In the face of these attacks, African Americans created institutions, communities to help them survive and thrive. Through their struggle, they challenged the nation to live up to its ideals of freedom and equality. So how did I put that in the book? One of the places that those institutions show up in the book is through the church. That's one of the mainstays of the African American tradition. That was one of the places that we gathered and we shared information and we found a sense of healing in the church. So this scene from Lenny Gray picks up where Curly is talking to his friend Bunchy, and he orders Lenny Gray to go inside the church. Now, I must tell you that this takes place after Curly and Lenny Gray have had a bit of a disagreement.
It sure would be nice to settle down with a woman so I can share what I got with her, said Bunchy, holding on to Lenny Gray's gaze too long for Curly's liking. Almost instantly, Curly reached a level of irritation that exposed his stammer whenever swelling emotions held his words hostage. Don't look at her like that. There was fire in his throat. And stop telling lies about you having a bunch of things you ain't got. You ain't doing no better than the rest of us. Well, ain't no need to get all swollen up, Curly. You ain't tell me your wife was such a good looker with pretty straight hair. Even with her face swollen, I can tell that when she lets her hair down, she can make a blind man see. I was just wondering if she's got a sister, that's all. Bunchy looked at Lenny Gray a little longer before shifting his attention back to Curly. Lenny Gray felt self-conscious and adjusted the scarf to better hide her wounds. Shooing Lenny Gray away, Curly said, Go in there in the church and have a seat, Lenny. I'll be in there in a minute. I gotta take care of Bunchy. Bunchy? Lenny Gray spoke delicately before she continued on her way. Ma'am? Bunchy said with a smile. You know how to keep her in line real good, don't you, Curly? I bet you when you beat her, she don't even put up a fight or nothing, do she? Lenny Gray heard Bunchy ask as the two men began to move away from the church. Get on in there, Lenny. I ain't gonna tell you again. Curly's mood hardened. He was posturing as a display of power. He also wanted Bunchy to see how much control he had over her. Lenny Gray went inside the church and took a seat. As she waited, the church began to fill up. She looked around for Tangy May, but did not see her. Lenny Gray noticed a man standing in front of the pulpit. He was a short man with large eyes and a drum-shaped face. The man began to sing a familiar spiritual song. I shall not be moved. I shall not be moved, just like a tree planted near the water. I shall not be moved.